Good morning. My name is Murari Suvedi. I am a professor at Michigan State University. Presenting with me is Dr. Sasidhar, professor at Indira Gandhi National Open University in India. Our presentation is on process skill and competency gaps in undergraduate agricultural extension curriculum in South Asia. And then what are the implications for policy makings? So let me start. As you know, last 4 or 5 decades, we emphasize heavily on human resource development. Under human resource development, Agriculture Ministry, Planning Commission, agriculture development was a key for enhancing food security for our people. Throughout this development process, we develop many agricultural and veterinary universities in our countries, in many countries, many training centers, extension office and extension training centers were established. And many researchers have found that extension workers are poorly trained in their job. And some researchers indicated that undergraduate level training that we give to extension worker is weak. We are not training sufficient number of extension worker, and even if we are training, the training is weak. In this context, we decided to address 3 research questions in our study. First, what are the critical job skills and competencies required of extension worker today? Number 2, does our current undergraduate curriculum include education or training on these skills and competencies? And number 3, what are the barriers, difficulties, or drawbacks to train extension workers with required skills and competencies? And how can we remove those drawbacks or barriers? For these 3 questions, we addressed our research in 2 phases. Phase 1 included extensive focus group sessions in India and Sri Lanka. We conducted 12 focus groups, asked the questions to development planners, practitioners, researchers, extension teachers, professors. What are the essential job skills and competencies for today's extension worker? We came up with a long list and we refined there were 48 job skills and competencies which are essential for good, hardworking extension worker. Okay, then these 48 job skills and competencies we classified, categorized into 8 different categories. And then we developed an online survey. This online survey was administered to a mail email list of teaching, research, and extension professionals in India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. After several reminder emails and others, we heard from 1,085 respondents on our survey. So let me summarize the findings from our study about core competencies of extension professionals and the gaps in undergraduate curriculum in South Asia, particularly India, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. Our respondents, they come from all age groups, somewhere below 25 years of age, somewhere 56 years or older. Majority of our respondents were male, about 1/3 were female. And they had all kinds of education. Almost 44% had a PhD degree, about 34% had a master's degree, and others had undergraduate, associate degree, diploma, or certificate in extension education. In terms of work experience, we had again a wide variety of work experience. About half of them had been working in their current position for 10 years or less, whereas between 20 to 30 years of work experience, we had some 20% of the respondents. So we represent a whole range of experience of work who responded to this study. They come from State Agricultural University, State Veterinary University, research organizations like ICAR or Nepal Agricultural Research Council or Sri Lanka Agricultural Research Council, Department of Agriculture, Department of Animal Husbandry, Department of Fisheries, and central universities and private companies and non-governmental organizations. So our respondents come from various backgrounds. I think they pretty much represent our professional groups in agricultural development. Now, coming to the skills and competencies, which we categorize into 8 areas, program planning, skills and competency was the first category. Skills required to plan and implement a program successfully. This skill is very important. All those sub-skills you can read on the left-hand side. The blue arrow, blue column shows how important it was rated on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being not important to 5 being essential. Similarly, the red column, red bar shows how well this skill or competency is covered in our undergraduate curriculum. So we could see program implementation skills very essential, demonstrating the teamwork, organizing a participatory program, implementing the project in a transparent way, delegating the responsibility, and meeting the needs of minority and women farmers, things of that. All are important. Is it covered in our undergraduate curriculum? Overall, findings suggested an average of between 2.75 to 3. It is moderately covered, if at all. It is covered, but moderately covered. The third area is communication skills and competencies. Very essential, very important for the extension worker. In terms of coverage, it is moderately covered again. These skills in our curriculum is moderately covered. You can look from the chart. ICTs, very important skills in today's world. Internet, communication, email, computers, mobile phones, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, texting, all kind of ICT tools. Very important. Coverage-wise, moderately covered. This is, to our surprise, it is pretty much covered in most curriculum, and most respondent responded very positively. We are getting much better in this area. The fifth area is program evaluation skills and competencies. Very important again, but the coverage in terms of sharing the evaluation findings, collecting data, analyzing data, writing reports, those skills need to be covered better. Okay, they are with average coverage. Personal and professional development skills and competencies, very important. Extension worker need to upgrade their skills every year, every time they go, they keep working. We need to have high morale, high ethical extension workers. So this area is very important, but we don't teach much about how to manage professional skills and ethical standards. This area is again low coverage or less than moderate coverage. Diversity in terms of ethnicity, caste, minority, majority group, or women and men farmers, gender issues, very important. In terms of coverage, there is some content, but coverage is still less than moderate. We don't teach these skills very well. The final group of skills and competency is technical subject matter skills. As you could see, universities and colleges are doing great in offering technical courses like crop production, livestock production, fisheries, IPM, and others. But when it comes to specific content about entrepreneurship development, demonstrating agribusiness management skills, or writing research reports and journals, or educating farmers or stakeholders about climate change, market fluctuation, natural disaster, these issues, how to address. Again, this is what we are weak. We need to integrate courses, curriculum in these fields. Overall, we asked, what are the barriers to change, to improve, to update, to provide these skills? Number one, frequently mentioned barrier is budget. Many departments and colleges don't have the budget. Number two barrier is quality of teaching faculty to teach these new skills and competencies. We don't have trained faculty. Third and fourth, student motivation to do practical work in extension is weak. Teacher motivation to teach required skills and competencies is also weak. So we need to address on these motivational areas, faculty as well as students' motivation. We then say, how can we address it? We ask a series of questions, but two frequently mentioned ways is those who are already in extension job, we need to offer them the extension training, periodic training every year or every 6 months, conduct training, upgrade their skill. Number two, for those students who are still undergraduate, we need to include them, encourage them, and support them in internship programs at public extension offices, private companies, NGO offices and programs and projects like that. So these two came very loud and clear. Now, we also asked, what are the policy implications? What are the policy implications of our findings? One implication is female representation in extension professional jobs is low. We need to make a systematic effort to educate female students in postgraduate and doctoral level work. We need to also recruit more extension professionals, women extension professionals in teaching, research, and field positions. Okay. The second area of policy recommendation is we saw there is a wide gap, statistically significant gap between how important these skills are, how well they are covered in our current undergraduate curriculum. We need to address this gap by revising curriculum, by including these new topics into the curriculum, by training the faculty to how to teach these skills and competencies. We need to develop manuals, field books, guidebooks for the teachers and facilitators, how to develop these skills. So we need to develop textbook, lab manuals, and others. The goal should be educating next generation of extension worker with required skills. Please remember, curriculum is a living document. It should change along with the context. When the context changes, curriculum should change. And it is time for change. Now, the last one, we made a recommendation, especially in India and Sri Lanka and Nepal. We found most of the course content was adapted from US and UK universities in the 1960s and 70s. It is time to develop modify, revise the course content. We have recommended 3 courses. First is Foundation of Extension Education, may be offered in the first or second year. Managing Extension Programs, maybe second or third year. And Agribusiness and Supply Chain Management. This is a very high demand course. Farmers, agribusiness owners, and stakeholders are questioning about this. Extension current graduates don't seem to hold much background in this area. So we have recommended a new course. Our report, research report, outlines all the recommendations of topics. We have outlined that in the curriculum. So these are the 3 recommendations we made based on this research. Thank you very much. If you have questions, please feel free to email us or write us. Any questions you have, I will be happy to answer you. Thank you very much.